future is watching everything you do today, not metaphorically, not poetically, literally. Every choice you make right now is being recorded somewhere you cannot see, filed away in a version of you that has not arrived yet. That version is waiting, patiently, silently, collecting evidence. And one day, he wakes up and he is exactly what you built him to be. Nothing more, nothing less. Most people live as if today doesn't count, as if this morning is just a placeholder, as if the real decisions start tomorrow, next Monday, next month, next year. But there is no tomorrow that isn't built from today. There is no next year that isn't made of 1,000 ordinary todays stacked on top of each other. Your future self is not a stranger arriving from nowhere. He is the sum of every choice you're making right now, whether you're paying attention or not. Think about that carefully. Somewhere ahead of you, there is a version of yourself standing in a room. Maybe it's a better room. Maybe it's the same room, just older, heavier, more tired. That version is looking backward at this exact moment, at you right now, deciding whether to be proud or ashamed. He doesn't get a vote. He only inherits the results. That's the part nobody explains to you early enough. Your future doesn't get a say in who you become. It only receives the invoice. Every skipped workout, every broken promise, every hour traded for comfort instead of growth, it doesn't disappear. It gets forwarded, straight to him. And every rep you finish when you didn't want to, every conversation you have instead of avoiding, every page you read instead of scrolling, that gets forwarded too. He inherits both, the debts and the deposits. And most people are unknowingly writing checks their future self can't cash. Here is the uncomfortable truth. You are not living one life. You are living two. The life you experience today and the life you are quietly constructing for someone who doesn't exist yet but absolutely will. Most people only manage the first one. They chase how today feels. Comfortable, entertained, relieved, but they ignore the second one completely. They forget that someone is inheriting the consequences of every shortcut they take. That neglect is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't feel like betrayal in the moment. It feels like relaxing. It feels like relief. It feels like nothing at all. But nothing at all, repeated for years, becomes something enormous. A future self standing in a life he didn't choose, built entirely from decisions he never got to make. Think about the version of you 5 years from now. He is not a fantasy. He is not a hope. He is a prediction. And predictions are built from patterns, not wishes. If your pattern right now is delay, hesitation, comfort, and easy escape, then the prediction is simple. He will be tired. He will be behind. He will be asking the same questions you're asking right now, except with 5 fewer years to answer them. If your pattern right now is discipline, discomfort, follow-through, and quiet consistency, the prediction changes completely. He will be capable. He will be calm. He will look back at this exact moment and recognize it as the turning point, even if it didn't feel like one at the time. The frightening part is that turning points rarely feel dramatic while they're happening. They feel like an ordinary Tuesday, an early alarm, a hard conversation you almost avoided, a workout you almost skipped. Nobody claps, nothing changes visibly, and yet somehow everything is being decided. This is why so many people feel stuck. They are waiting for a sign, a spark, a moment big enough to deserve their full effort. But your future self isn't waiting for a big moment. He's counting small ones, thousands of them, quietly, relentlessly, without asking your permission. Understand this. You cannot lie to him. You can lie to your friends. You can lie to social media. You can even lie to yourself for a while. But you cannot lie to the person who has to live inside the results of your choices. He will know exactly how many mornings you wasted. He will feel exactly how many promises you broke. He will carry the weight of every excuse you accepted. That is why some people feel a strange, quiet dread late at night. Not because their day was terrible, but because somewhere inside them they already know who they're building, and they're afraid to meet him. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding that meeting. They distract themselves with noise, so they never have to sit in silence long enough to hear the question their future keeps asking. What are you doing to me right now? That question is uncomfortable because it removes every excuse. It's not asking about your circumstances. It's not asking about your luck. It's asking about your choices. Today, this hour, this exact decision in front of you. And here is what makes it worse. Your future self cannot renegotiate. He cannot go back and redo the workout you skipped. He cannot unread the years you spent scrolling instead of building. He can only work with what you hand him. That is the entire deal. You build. He lives inside it. So the real question isn't, will I succeed someday? The real question is, what am I quietly building for the person who has no choice but to become me? Think about your habits the way you would think about construction. Every action is a brick, not symbolic, literal, a brick laid into a structure that someone else is going to have to stand inside of. A wasted evening is a crooked brick. A kept promise is a straight one. A skipped commitment is a crack in the foundation that won't show up today, but will absolutely show up later, when the weight finally gets tested. And weight always gets tested. Life has a way of applying pressure exactly where the foundation is weakest. Not because life is cruel, but because pressure reveals what was actually built, not what was intended. This is why some people collapse the moment real difficulty arrives, and others barely notice it. It was never about that specific moment. It was about every quiet moment leading up to it. The moment simply revealed what had already been decided long before it arrived. Most people think character is discovered in crisis. It isn't. Character is built in silence and revealed in crisis. The crisis doesn't create the strength. It exposes whether the strength was already there. So, if you want to know who you'll be under pressure 5 years from now, don't imagine the pressure. Look at your habits today. That's your answer. That's the whole answer. There is a particular kind of person who understands this early, and it changes everything about how they live. They stop asking, how do I feel about this task today? They start asking, who is inheriting the result of this task? That single shift in language changes behavior more than any motivational speech ever could. Because feelings are unreliable. Feelings change by the hour. But the person inheriting your results doesn't care how you felt while building him. He only cares what got built. Imagine explaining your excuses to him directly, not to yourself, to him. I didn't feel like training that day. I was tired. I deserved a break. I'll start again soon. Say those words out loud to the version of you standing in the future, carrying the consequences of that day. Watch how hollow they sound. He doesn't want your apology. He wanted your effort. And apologies don't rebuild what effort was supposed to create. This is why regret feels so different from ordinary sadness. Regret is not about losing something external. It's about realizing you handed your future self a weaker inheritance than you were capable of giving him. And that realization doesn't fade quickly because it isn't really about the past. It's about a person who is still living, still breathing, still having to carry what you left behind. But here's the part that should give you hope instead of despair. If neglect compounds, so does effort. If small excuses build a weak future, small disciplines build a strong one. The same law works in both directions. That means nothing is finished yet. That means today still counts. Right now, in this exact moment, You are either making a deposit or a withdrawal. There is no neutral. Sitting still is still a decision. Scrolling instead of moving is still a vote. Silence is still an answer, and your future self is still listening, whether you intend him to or not. So ask yourself honestly, if your future self could see this exact day, this exact hour, would he feel like someone is finally taking his life seriously? Or would he feel like he's watching the same pattern repeat itself one more time? That answer matters more than any goal you've ever written down, because goals are just descriptions of what you want him to have. Your daily behavior is the actual mechanism that gives it to him or denies it to him. Think about the people you admire most, the calm ones, the capable ones, the ones who seem unusually put together under pressure. They did not become that way in a single dramatic year. They became that way because years ago, some version of them decided to stop wasting ordinary days, and every ordinary day since then quietly built the person you're admiring now. They were once exactly where you are, uncertain, tired, tempted to coast. The only difference is they stopped asking whether today mattered and started acting like it obviously did. You don't need a new personality to do the same thing. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need to feel ready. You only need to start treating today like evidence instead of like a throwaway, because it is evidence. It's being filed right now, whether you acknowledge it or not. Every disciplined choice you make today is a message sent forward in time. It says, I see you. I know you're coming. I'm building something you can actually stand inside of. Every lazy, dishonest, avoidant choice sends a different message. It says, deal with it later. Figure it out when you get here. I was busy being comfortable. Which message do you want waiting for him when he finally becomes you? Because he will become you. That part isn't optional. Time moves whether you cooperate with it or not. The only question that remains is what you hand him when he arrives. There is something else worth understanding here. Your future self is not only shaped by your big decisions, he is shaped disproportionately by your small ones, because small decisions repeat far more often than big ones ever do. You will rarely face a single moment that defines your entire life. You will face thousands of ordinary moments that quietly decide it instead. The choice to get up or stay down, the choice to speak the truth or avoid it, the choice to finish or to quit early. Those moments look insignificant individually. Multiplied by years, they become the entire architecture of a life. This is why obsessing over the big picture without respecting the small moment is a trap. People wait for the big opportunity to prove themselves, while ignoring the 100 small opportunities already in front of them, each one quietly building or weakening the person who is going to eventually face that big opportunity. By the time the big moment arrives, it's already too late to prepare for it. Preparation was supposed to happen in all those forgettable, ordinary hours you dismissed as unimportant. So stop waiting for a moment large enough to deserve your discipline. Start treating the current moment, however small, however boring, however unnoticed, as if your future depended on it, because it does. Here's a practical way to carry this with you. Before you make a choice today, whether to train or rest, whether to speak up or stay quiet, whether to follow through or make an excuse, picture the version of you standing 5 years ahead, watching this exact decision unfold in real time. Ask him one simple question. Does this help you or hurt you? Not does this feel good right now? Does this help the man who has to live with what I choose? That single mental habit, repeated daily, changes the entire trajectory of a life. Not because it's complicated, but because it's honest. It removes the fog of temporary emotion and replaces it with long-term responsibility. Most people avoid this question because it's uncomfortable. It's much easier to live only in today, ignoring the person who inherits it. But comfort now always seems to be paid for later, with interest, by someone who didn't get a vote in the transaction. You get to decide what kind of ancestor you are to your own future. Every generation of yourself either builds forward or drifts backward. There is no standing still, because time itself keeps moving even when you don't. Picture your life as a long hallway of rooms, each one representing a future version of you. The room 5 years ahead, the room 10 years ahead, the room at the very end of the hallway where the oldest version of you finally sits down and looks back at the whole path behind him. What does he see when he looks back at today? Does he see someone who took this seriously, who respected the weight of an ordinary Tuesday, who built quietly and consistently without needing applause? Or does he see another blurred day, indistinguishable from 1,000 others, wasted on convenience? He is going to see something. That much is guaranteed. The only undecided part is what? There is a strange kind of freedom hidden inside this responsibility. Once you accept that your future self is always watching, always inheriting, always waiting, you stop needing external motivation. You stop needing someone else to hold you accountable, because the most important person you could ever answer to is already assigned. He's simply waiting for you to notice him. And once you notice him, everything shifts. The workout stops being about today's mood and starts being about tomorrow's capability. The hard conversation stops being about today's comfort and starts being about tomorrow's relationships. The discipline stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like a gift you're wrapping for someone who deserves it. Someone who happens to be you. This isn't about becoming obsessed with the future at the expense of the present. It's about respecting the present enough to understand what it's quietly turning into. The present is not separate from the future. The present is the raw material the future is made of. There is no other source. So the next time you are tempted to waste an hour, remember that hour doesn't vanish. It gets absorbed into someone. The next time you're tempted to break a promise to yourself, remember that promise doesn't just disappear either. It gets subtracted from someone's foundation. And the next time you consider showing up fully, training properly, speaking honestly, working diligently even when nobody is watching, remember that someone absolutely is watching. Not a stranger, not an audience, him, the one who has no choice but to become whatever you build today. Your future is watching everything you do today, not with judgment, not with cruelty. With quiet, patient attention, the way a builder studies a blueprint before the walls ever go up. He is not asking you to be perfect. He is asking you to be honest. Honest about what today actually is. Not a throwaway, not a placeholder. The exact material his entire life is being made from. So build like someone is going to have to live inside this. Because someone is. And one day, without asking permission, that someone is going to open his eyes and realize he has already become whoever you decided to be, one ordinary day at a time. Let's talk about money for a moment, because this principle is nowhere more obvious than in your finances. The version of you 5 years from now either has options or he has apologies. And the difference between those two futures isn't luck. It's 1,000 small financial decisions you're making right now that feel invisible in the moment. Every dollar spent chasing temporary comfort is a dollar your future self doesn't have when he actually needs it. Every dollar saved, invested, or used to build a skill is a dollar he inherits as leverage. He doesn't remember the specific purchase you made today. He only feels the weight or the freedom of the pattern you repeated for years. This is why some people reach 40 and feel trapped. not because they failed dramatically, but because nobody ever explained that ordinary spending habits compound into either freedom or dependency. Nobody sat them down and said, the version of you standing in that future is going to inherit exactly what you're building right now. No more, no less. The same law applies to your relationships. The version of you 5 years from now either has people who trust him completely, or he has a long list of apologies he never quite got around to making. Every time you choose honesty over convenience today, you're depositing trust into an account he's going to need later. Every time you avoid a hard conversation to protect your comfort, you're quietly withdrawing from that same account without telling him. He will find out eventually. Trust always reveals itself eventually, usually at the exact moment it's needed most, and by then, it's far too late to go back and have the conversation you avoided years earlier. Consider your health the same way. The body you'll be living in a decade from now is being constructed right now, cell by cell, meal by meal, workout by workout, or lack of one. Nobody feels the damage of one skipped workout. Nobody feels the cost of one unhealthy meal. That's exactly what makes neglect so dangerous. It never announces itself in the moment. It only presents the bill later, all at once, to someone who had no say in the years of small decisions that created it. And on the opposite end, nobody feels dramatically strong after one single workout either. Strength, like debt, is invisible in the short term and undeniable in the long term. Your future body is not a mystery. It's a mathematical outcome of habits you're either building or neglecting today. This is the same reason confidence cannot be borrowed, faked, or downloaded from a video. Real confidence is manufactured slowly through the accumulation of promises kept to yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and you do it, you are quietly handing your future self one more piece of evidence that he can rely on himself. Every time you say you'll do something and you don't, you're handing him doubt instead. Doubt he'll carry into moments that actually matter. That's why some people appear calm under enormous pressure, while others crumble under the smallest inconvenience. It was never about the pressure itself. It was about how much evidence of self-trust they had already built long before the pressure arrived. Here's something most people never consider. Your future self doesn't just inherit your habits, he inherits your standards. If your standard today is, this is good enough, then 5 years from now his standard will still be, this is good enough, because standards don't rise on their own. They rise only when you deliberately choose to raise them, today, in this ordinary, unremarkable hour that feels like it doesn't matter. Somewhere, right now, someone your exact age, with your exact starting point, maybe fewer resources than you, is quietly deciding to raise their standard today. Not dramatically, not with a speech, just one decision, followed by another, followed by another. And in 5 years, the gap between that person and someone who kept saying tomorrow will be impossible to close because compounding doesn't wait for permission. It simply keeps working in whichever direction you feed it. You might be tempted to think this is unfair, that some people had more time, more support, more advantages. Maybe that's true for some, but the fairness of your starting point has nothing to do with the fairness of your next decision. The next decision belongs entirely to you, regardless of where you began. This is why blame is so seductive and so useless at the same time. Blame explains the past. It does nothing for the person waiting in the future. He doesn't care why the foundation is weak. He only cares whether you started reinforcing it the moment you realized it was. So here is the only real question left. Not, was your past fair? Not, do you feel ready? Not, do you have the perfect plan? Only this. What are you going to hand him today? Because today is not a rehearsal. It never was. It is the actual material. It is the actual brick. It is the actual deposit or the actual withdrawal. There is no dress rehearsal version of your life running quietly in the background where none of this counts. This is the only version. This is the one being recorded. Your future is watching everything you do today. He is not impressed by intentions. He does not care about the plans you talked about but never started. He only inherits what actually happened, the version of today that really occurred, not the version you meant to live. So decide right now, in this exact moment, whether you are going to hand him another ordinary day wasted on convenience, or whether you are finally going to give him a day he can build on. Not a perfect day, not a dramatic day, just an honest one. One brick laid straight, one promise kept, 1 hour respected instead of wasted. That's all it takes to begin changing everything he inherits from here forward. There will be a day, years from now, when the version of you standing at the end of this hallway looks back and asks a single question. Not, was it hard? Not, was it fair? Only this: did I take the ordinary days seriously when I still had time to? You get to decide his answer, not with a speech, not with a New Year's resolution that quietly disappears by February. With today, with this exact hour, with the next decision sitting in front of you right now, waiting for you to either honor it or waste it. Nobody else can make that decision for you, and nobody else has to live with the outcome the way he does. That is the weight of this. That is also the freedom of it. You are not performing for an audience. You are not building for approval. You are building for someone who has absolutely no choice but to become exactly what you leave him. So build like it matters, because it does. Because he is real, even though you haven't met him yet. Because somewhere ahead of you, he is standing quietly, watching this exact moment unfold, hoping you finally understand what every disciplined person before you eventually understood. The future isn't something that happens to you. It's something you're handing to someone, one ordinary day at a time. Make today one he's proud to inherit.